In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up your Canon point-and-shoot camera to work with social photo booth software. The first thing you want to do is turn on the camera and go under the menu setting. On different PowerShot cameras, the menu button is located in different places, but it's typically on the back. On this camera, it's here in the corner. Just so you know, there's a Canon S3 PowerShot. The S series and the G series are probably the most popular. The first thing you want to do is go over to the tool section right here and go to this power savings mode down here. Use the four-way rocker switch to go down here. And what you need to do is turn off the automatic power down feature, okay? If you don't turn this off, then your camera will turn off after about 5 minutes of inactivity, okay? So go over to off here, press the set button, okay? And when the camera would disconnect, you'd think there's something wrong with the software, but it's actually just because you don't have the auto power down turn to the off mode. So I'm going to go back to the menu over here. The next thing you want to do is make sure your camera's in the manual mode right here. A lot of times you can take some tape or a hot glue gun and stick this camera dial so it doesn't move by accident. And then you want to hit the menu button again. Or I'm sorry, you don't want to hit the menu button. You want to hit the function button here. And the function button will bring up all these different functions here. You want to go down to the flash icon and make sure the flash output is set to at least halfway or full. If you have them in the minimum, then it's just not bright enough. So make sure your flash is set to full. Then go up here to the AWB. That stands for auto white balance. You want to set the white balance to flash, which is that lightning bolt symbol. Okay? And the last thing you want to do is you want to set the resolution. You don't want to do large. That's going to just make your software run slower. Either want to do medium to small is actually really small. It's only 640 by 480 resolution, which is about like 1.5 inches by 2 inches. It will work, but I go a step higher to medium, which is about 1600 by 1200. Okay. So once you have all those settings done, you want to do some other things with the camera as well to make it easier to use in your photo booth. Something I always do is take a block of foam and I just stick it down here so that the flash won't accidentally go down. The other thing I do is I buy a lens adapter hood, which is like this, and a wide-angle lens, and they simply screw together. And this gives you a little wider field of view. If you have a kiosk or a tower type photo booth, then you don't really need the wide angle. But if you're inside an enclosure, you do. And this just bayonets on. There's a little button here that you press. You can take the wide angle lens on or off. But it really helps get more people in the picture. The other thing you need to do is you need to buy an AC power adapter here. So this plugs into the side of your camera. Make sure you get the genuine Canon OEM one. You don't want to get the cheap third-party ones that are on Amazon.com. They seem like they work okay, but when the flash fires, it lowers the power in the camera and you get disconnection errors left and right. So the next thing you have to do is you need to set the exposure on the camera. So you're in manual mode here. You're going to go ahead and get out of the function menu by hitting function here. Okay, and then you need to adjust the shutter speed. I usually put the shutter speed between 100 and 200. We'll just put it at 100 right now. And the aperture on these cameras doesn't have to be as high as a DSLR because they have more depth of field, or in other words, everything's in sharp focus, especially if you use a wide-angle lens. So f4 is fine right there, and then you need to change the ISO. So you press the ISO button here, and if you're using an external flash, you can probably set it to something like 100 or 200. If you're using the on-camera flash, you might set it around ISO 400. And those are the basics of it. Remember, the exposure is about 1/100th, around f4, ISO 100, 200, 400. Just change it so that the picture is nice and bright. And that's the basics of it. One last thing is the hole in the body of these cameras is not centered on the lens. So if you buy like an L bracket adapter plate, you can have the hole centered, and you can also have a hole on the side if you want to mount the camera vertically instead of horizontally. Hope you found this video informational, and thanks for watching.